First of all, the story of your recruitment to the University of Missouri is an interesting one. Tell us.
I don't know if recruiting is the right word. Before I get into that, first of all, I'd like to just congratulate the other honorees tonight, and just to let you know how honored I am to be inducted in the class with the rest of you, so thank you. And the other elephant in the room, and I can't speak for the other honorees tonight, but I swear to God, since I was notified, I've been bawling my eyes out, and I just want to get that out in the open. And it might happen again tonight, but I make no apologies. So, ladies, I hope you're with me.
Well, and I'll apologize to Mark because I should have asked that question. But what was it like when you received the phone call?
It was incredible, and it still is. It's still incredible. It's something that, you know, when you're an athlete, and you sign up to play. You play because you want to win. You don't ever play thinking that, you know, someday I would like to be inducted into some type of Hall of Fame type situation. You never think about that. And so when something like this happens, it's I don't know, for me it's been just completely overwhelming.
So take us through the recruiting.
The recruiting, I don't know if I don't know if recruiting is the right word. I graduated from Park Center High School in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the summer of 1976. Halfway through the summer, as you say, I was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. They had no intentions whatsoever of signing me. I wanted to make a position change. I didn't want to be a pitcher anymore. I wanted to be a catcher. I don't like pitchers. On a Sunday evening in the middle of summer, Dick Siebert, the late great head baseball coach at the University of Minnesota, called me up and he says, "Timmy, why don't you come down tomorrow? We'll talk a little bit." And I said, "Okay." So I made my way down to Dick Siebert's office at the University of Minnesota, and I sat in his office, and he began to expound upon the virtues of his program. And about 20 minutes later, he said, "Timmy, I'll offer you a 1/3 scholarship." I didn't really say anything, and so he continued to expound upon the virtues of his program, and about 20 minutes after that, he said, "Okay, I'll give you 2/3. Which at that point in time, I determined that I was just one heck of a negotiator. But he said, "Why don't you think about it and call me back on Friday?" And I said, "Okay." Well, on Wednesday morning, I got up, and all I had were a few letters, but a baseball sports information director's guide from the University of Missouri. It had a phone number in there. So I dialed the telephone number and got the athletic department. I said, "Coach McCarter's office, please." Okay, Coach McCarter answered. I said, "Coach, my name is Tim Laudner, and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'd like to talk to you about becoming a student athlete at the University of Missouri." I had to write it out because I didn't trust, I swear to God, I didn't trust myself to ad-lib it. And he said, "Well, geez, that's fine." He says, "But the assistant coach does all the recruiting, and he's not here. I'll have him call you on Friday." And I said, "Okay, thank you." I hung up the phone and went, "Oh, I have to call Coach Siebert back on Friday." Well, Thursday night, the phone rang in our household. I answered the phone. It was Assistant Coach Bob Todd. And he said, "This is Coach Todd from the University of Missouri. I understand you want to come here." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Have you ever been here?" I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Are you sure you don't want to visit here first?" I said, "No, I don't think that'll be necessary." And he said, "Well, I have a 3/4 scholarship for you. Would you accept that?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that would be just fine." He said, "You mean if I send you the papers, you'll sign them?" I said, "Yes, sir, I will." And so 41 years ago, I stepped on to the University of Missouri campus for the first time.
What are some of your favorite memories of those days?
Well, the story actually goes on from there. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you because.
Want to take the mic 'cause my arm
No. I'm used to that. I started feeling my oats a little bit. Coach McCarter saw to it that I got into the lineup quite often. And I had gone up to the coaching staff one day and I said, you know, you guys got me down here under false pretenses from Minneapolis, Minnesota. You told me there's orange trees growing here and you play baseball all year long. We just played a doubleheader against the University of Iowa with snowing sideways. And Coach McCarter said, and as I recall, you were the only one out there who didn't have long sleeves on. Which was just a bit of a technicality. Coach Todd came up to me sometime after that and he said, do you know how you got here? I said, I don't know. There was a young man out of Kansas City by the name of Bill Sobey, and I'll never forget this, even though it was 40-some years ago. Bill Sobey was a catcher, left-handed hitter out of Kansas City, Missouri, who wanted a full scholarship, and the University of Missouri baseball team did not offer full scholarships. And he said, I want a full scholarship. And they said, sorry, all we have is a 3/4. Well, I called him up out of the blue, got that scholarship. Coach Todd told me that sometime after that, Bill Sobey called him up and said, okay, I'll take the 3/4. And they said, no, it's gone. Bill Sobey attended Northwest Missouri State University and played with the guy who would become my teammate by the name of Gary Gaetti, who also played for the St. Louis Cardinals. I showed up, thanks to Coach McCarter and Coach Todd, in Kenai, Alaska in the summer of 1978 in the Alaskan Summer Collegiate League. And I caught, for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, Bill Sobey was the catcher for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. In about the mid-'80s, as I was a member of the Minnesota Twins, we pulled into Kansas City for a series against the Kansas City Royals. And I walked from the clubhouse down the tunnel to the third base visitors' dugout. And when I got there, I happened to look up, and Bill Sobey was throwing batting practice for the Kansas City Royals. And is probably still an educator in the one of the Kansas City high schools. And so it was right then and there that I decided that fate was a pretty good thing.
Yeah, pretty good indeed. That's a great story. Still involved in baseball, doing television work with the Twins.
I have a face for radio, but they put me on TV. I work for Fox Sports North in the Twin Cities. I do pregame, postgame work for the Minnesota Twins broadcasts. And it's a great job. I love being at the ballpark. I see people on a regular basis that I have not seen in a long time. One of the stories that I told Coach McCarter at lunch today was in that summer of 1978, I played for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. In 2013, just 4 short years ago, I was at the ballpark and decided I'm going to go over to the Cleveland Indian dugout. Terry Francona is the manager of the Cleveland Indians. I said, Terry, how you doing? Timmy, how you doing? Terry played for the Fairbanks Gold Panthers in the summer of 1978. Kind of a cliquey little thing we got going here if you haven't noticed. This whole baseball thing. And I said, where's Millsy at? He said, I don't know, he's around here somewhere. Check the coach's office. So I walked back to the coach's office to say hello to Brad Mills, who was our third baseman in the summer of 1978 in the Summer Collegiate League, and it was the first time I'd said hello to Brad in 35 years. So that's why I love being at the ballpark, and that's why I love still being involved in the game of baseball.
Introduce some of the folks you got with you tonight.
First of all, I have to thank Coach McCarter. He started me here at the University of Missouri. He is in the University of Missouri Hall of Fame. He took a chance on me, sight unseen, and took care of me for 3 years, and for some reason booted me out the door. I think he probably had enough. His beautiful wife, Donna, who looks the same as when I attended school here. I also brought with me my daughter, who I probably shouldn't say this, but at least there's one Laudner who is a graduate of the University of Missouri in our family, my daughter Sarah, and my big son Sam, who serves also as my bodyguard when I need him. Because he's a big son of a gun. They're beautiful kids. And I also have with me the love of my life, Belinda. She's a Hoosier. She's an Indiana University graduate, and is the light of my life and is an absolute sweetheart, except for when Indiana's playing basketball. You ever seen that movie, The Exorcist? Anyway, we don't need to get into that, but yeah, it's again, this is more than I think that I could have ever dreamed for. To be able to play baseball at the University of Missouri, to be a part of the University of Missouri, this is where I got my start. If it wasn't for the University of Missouri allowing me to somehow, some way mature and grow up and understand what it means to take care of yourself and to play a game that you love and to develop a passion for what it is that you do, I would have never have had a major league career. And the two guys, Gene McCarter and the guy that I played for a long time, not just at the major league level, was Tom Kelly. Those two guys are cut right flat out of the same cloth. And if it wasn't for those two guys, I would not have had any type of a career in baseball because of baseball. And I've said this at a number of events that I've spoke at. Because of the game of baseball. I played baseball on 3 different continents in 5 different countries in 39 of the 50 states. And this is from some little fat knucklehead kid from Park Center High School. You just can't make that up. But what it tells me is just how grateful I am, just like Mark said, of all the people that have supported me along the way. There's sometimes too numerous to mention, too numerous.
Welcome to a pretty select crew.
Thank you.
Tim Laudner, ladies and gentlemen.